This was definitely the preseason game of all time. I I don't really know what to say really because honestly it was boring. One, two, it was a tie. Three, the refs are rigging games in the preseason, and four, I don't have a four. But yeah, Colts and Patriots tie in the Colts' first preseason game and the first NFL game of the season for them. Overall, it was really just a backup fest. We didn't have any of our starters in, I don't think, on either side of the ball. Of course, Richardson and Leonard are sort of in a QB battle right now. But there's also, yeah, that made no sense. There's also, you can see I'm tired from this game. But also, there's a kicking battle, between Groupie and Schrader, which I think was pretty interesting this game. More interesting than the QB battle than you would probably expect. Just get right into it. Only really takeaways I have, like big things I have to mention other than stats, of course, was, of course, Richardson. It's like everyone hates this guy. Non-Colts fans hate him. Some Colts fans hate him. And then there's the few section of Colts fans that actually like him and want him to do good. I'm one of those people. I still think Richardson can be good under circumstances. At this point, it's, in my opinion, too late for the Colts, for him to be good at the Colts. But if he gets into another team that can actually develop a QB, I think he can be pretty good. And actually, about that, Richardson played Leonard. My goodness. Richardson played better than Leonard today. And it wasn't even close either. Like, it was very clearly that Richardson played better. Yes, he had a fumble. That fumble was bad. He should not fumble that. However, the interception on his stat sheet, if you look at it, is nowhere near any way his fault. That was my cat. If you heard that, of course. The interception was no way near his fault at all. Dude hit the guy right in his hands, and dude dropped him. And, of course, stat sheet watchers are going to tell you that he sucks because of the pick. However, it was not his fault. And again, if you watch Colts games with Richardson starting, it's not usually his fault that he throws the picks. Some of them, yeah, they're bad throws. I can understand that. A lot of them are the receivers can't catch his passes when they're literally in his hands. And they get dropped, they get picked. That happens a lot when it's Richardson. Don't necessarily know why that's the case, but that's the case. Other than that, he had one bad throw that was his first throw, I believe. And he was good the rest of the time. Really, I'm trying to think. Did he do anything else wrong? I don't think so. He was decent and I wouldn't even say decent. He was good running. He was pretty good running. It was just that one just unfortunate punch out that was bad, I do admit. But he was good at run. And he got the touchdown, the only touchdown of the game. It should have been a passing touchdown, but it ended up being a rushing one. And then, of course, halftime comes. We change out. We put in Leonard. He does not look good the entire game. He had decent throws, and he did not fumble the ball. But he was playing too much like a pocket passer, in my opinion. He ran once. Riley Leonard was a good rusher in college for Notre Dame. He carried them to the Natty, mostly by that, in the rushing game. And he came into this game playing like a pocket passer. He ran once. He didn't go out of the pocket. He didn't really throw well either. Other than some good short route throws, he didn't impress at all. He had a bad pick, way worse than Richardson's pick. He just clearly overthrew that receiver. Just a straight meatball sub or whatever it would be. And I do give him props. He did lead the drive that got us the 2 field goals that tied the game. However, I put that more on Schrader, who is my second point. Schrader played amazing. Coming out of that ACL injury, hasn't really been doing the best in practice. Groupie was considered better, especially in practice. But Groupie played the first half, or the first 3 quarters. I don't know necessarily when they took or they made a decision to change the kickers. But they changed Groupie to Schrader after Groupie missed a 60-yarder. And guess who hit a 60-yarder, who tied and got us the tie in the game? Schrader kicked a 61-yarder. Almost missed it. I do say the field goal is the field goal. That's what matters. So I think Schrader is well on his way to winning back the job. It's going to depend. Obviously, there's still a lot of practice to be had. But in my opinion, I think Schrader is the better kicker, and he is going to win the competition. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up, and you've probably seen this in the title, and maybe the thumbnail if I can find a good, clear picture. The refs are terrible. We've said this for years, right? And this is a preseason game. I'm just going to go straight to the play. It's like the second quarter. Richardson led a great drive down the field. This was when I believe it was before the touch. Yeah, it was before the touchdown. Richardson led a great drive down the field all the way to the 1-yard line, which, in my opinion, I thought Richardson read it in there. I thought he scored that touchdown. But they said he was down at the 1-yard line. Okay, fine. We run it with our running back. I believe it was with McGowan. And in every single replay that Colts sort of recording, Colts cameras, Colts press box, everything that the Colts showed that his hand and the ball clearly had crossed the line into the end zone. Literally, his hand is down on the ground, past the line with the ball. A Patriots defender just slaps the ball out of his hands, and the refs call it a fumble. Refs don't look at it. Steichen goes over to him, tells them, you need to look at this. This needs to be reviewed. Didn't review it once. He called it a fumble on the field, and they just didn't look at it. That is a complete joke, especially for a fumble in a red zone like that. You need to look at that. And we had clear visual camera evidence that that ball was in the end zone and that he did not fumble because his hand was down on the ground. He's obviously down. That should not have been a fumble. There were also a lot of bad calls that went against the Colts. Really. Like, there was 2 pass interferences that first drive they had where they got the field goal. That should not have been PIs. This should not have been PIs in the slightest. If you can somehow watch the game back, you can see that. So, I don't know what the refs are on. You should not be doing stuff like that in a preseason game. I mean, that's ridiculous, and I hope you don't ref in the regular season. Genuinely. But other than that, I don't really have much else to say. The O-line, I thought, didn't play good. The O-line wasn't good. The snapper was bad. A lot of high snaps. Luckily, no mistakes came out of it, but there were a lot of bad high snaps that I saw from that snapper that messed up our QBs. Defense, I don't like how they were playing that last drive. But overall, they did fine. Right? They didn't impress me, but they held them to 13 points. So, I'm not too mad at them. And if you really want to know, the punter, Rigoberto Sanchez, he punted the ball pretty not. No one cares about that. Let's just get into the stats. Of course, starting with the Colts, Richardson, 11 for 14. One of them was that bad pick. One of them was that bad throw at the beginning of the game. His first throw since last preseason, because he could have came in and he got his eye injured. Like, what was that week? It was like a few weeks before Jones got injured. And just as a side tangent, I think if we had Richardson last season, I think we would have went to the playoffs. Just saying. But that was his first throw back in a NFL uniform. But other than those two throws, he only missed one other throw. He went 11 for 14. He had 145 yards. Yes, he did have an interception. I don't think it was his fault. Did not get sacked once. Sorry. Leonard, on the other hand, went 10 for 21. 89 yards, an interception. No touchdown. He also got sacked. Rushing. Guess who led rushing? Was it a running back? No, of course. It's Anthony Richardson. Who would have thought a QB that's good at running is good at running? Of course, not Steichen, of course. Why would we ever run him? Sorry about that. Just had to get that out. Richardson, 6 carries, 53 yards. Yes, one of them was a fumble, but oh well. And he also had a touchdown on it, too. As long as 22. Castle, he actually played pretty decently. He had 9 carries for 47 yards. McGowan, 5 for 17. Should have had a touchdown. Leonard, 2 for 12. Williams, 3 for 4. Bentley, 2 for 0 yards. But his long was 2. So he just lost 2. One of our tight ends, Will Mallory, actually had a really good game. He caught 6 balls for 80 yards. Did not catch a touchdown, though. Sharp caught 4 of 29. Westbrook Keeney had caught 1 for 19. Pancol caught 2 for 18. Owen caught 2 for 17. Ogletree caught 1 for 17. Higgins caught 1 for 17. Montgomery caught 1 for 13. Bentley caught 1 for 9. Burks caught 1 for 9. Horton caught 1 for 6. Brown did not catch a ball. The defender out there that had the most tackles was Scott with 3 and an assist, although that was tied with Jackie and Chambers. Blackman actually had 3 tackles and 2 assists, so he was the best, I'd say. Curry, I believe, had a sack. Yeah, he did. Curry actually played really well. Didn't know that guy much overall. He had a good game, I'd say. Gums also had a sack, 2 sacks on the day. Kick returns, Owen led, 2 for 54. McGowan had 1 for 26, and Burks had 1 for 25. Owen also had 4 returns for 51 yards on punting. Like I said with kicking, Schrader, perfect 2 for 2. Long with 61, 6 points. Groupie missed the only field goal he could have had, which was also a 6-yarder. I'm not going to blame him too much on that. Did have a point, though. Sanchez punted 3 times, 160 yards, long of 57. Played pretty decent. Just a quick look at the Patriots. They had DeVito starting. You know, that guy. 13 for 22, 138 yards, touchdown. Got sacked once. And then this guy Morton came in. Don't really know much about him. He went 7 for 13 and also got sacked. And 66 yards. Their leading rusher was Miller, 55. Really the only one that did anything on the ground for them that game. And Prentice, I believe, caught 3 for 4. However, Larison caught 6 balls for 38. Anything else notable? I don't think so. They're going to say well, I actually don't know who technically forced the fumble on McGowan. So one of these is going to be the forced fumble on Richardson, and one of them isn't. But Britt might have had a forced fumble. Who else? And Farms Jr. might have had a forced fumble. Pettis might have had a fumble recovery. And Haskins might have had a fumble recovery. The interceptions came from Vildor and was that Saunders Jr., who also had a forced fumble. Did we fumble 3 times? I don't remember that last fumble. I don't. The sack came from Farmer, by the way. and one thing I do gotta mention from this team that's key. This dude lost his job. Borregales, he kicked 2 for 5, missed 3 fast 50, and I wouldn't say lost in the game because it was a draw, but didn't win him the game. He didn't win him the game. So, unfortunate for Borregales, but he probably will not have a job if the Patriots can find a better kicker. Let's see. Just a quick look at the team stats. We led on everything. 355 yards, 275 total. 222 of those coming from passing, and 133 of those coming from rushing. We also had 5.6 yards per play and more first downs, 21-16. They were, however, extremely better on the 3rd and 4th down. We failed our only 3rd down, or only 4th down of the day. They had 2. We went 1 for 8 on 3rd. That is not good. You can't have that in a regular game. You will lose. They went 5 for 18 on 3rd down. They had 6 more plays. They did allow 1 more sack than us. Just better on the O-line, I guess. We had more penalties, but the refs weren't good, so I don't care about that. But we lost 2 fumbles. We threw 2 picks. Just not a good day for at least the turnover side of the field for both sides, I guess. We were turning the ball over a lot, and we did not get any turnovers, so got to work on that, definitely. And they also had more time of possession, but we had, 9 more tackles? We made more field goals, but they converted better in the red zone. So, other than that, Colts' next game is going to be the Falcons. I think that's a home game, and it's going to be at 1 a.m. Other than that, that's all I have to say, really. So, thank you guys for watching. It's good to be back. See you guys, and peace.